Hello, and my name is William Robert Webb III, aka Rob Webb, aka Tetsuo the Great, aka Tetsuo Man, aka Rob. Wait, I already said Rob. Well, this is another Rob Reacts. This is going to be the first video game related one, because I know that when I did my first Rob Reacts video, I think about a week ago, and I think I've done around 4 so far, and I said I'll be doing stuff dealing with video games and comics, and so far all my stuff have been comics. So if anybody who wanted me to do something about video games, guess what? I'm going to be doing something about Nintendo, and that's pretty cool. And I should probably have the intro, but before I get to the intro, I do want to say one thing. I want to disclose that I do have stock in Nintendo, so keep that in mind when parsing out my views that I am going to espouse in this video. Now, enter the musicless intro! So, what am I going to be talking about? As you saw by the title, I am talking about the restocking of Amiibos, which is a long time coming and is a great thing, especially for me because I was extremely mad about one particular Amiibo I could not get when I was in line for 90 minutes. I will get into this at the end of the video. I will just basically say what we know so far. So, yesterday, Nintendo kind of came out, and they were like, hey, guess what? We know we screwed up. We weren't trying to artificially inflate the numbers in a Beanie Baby kind of way with Amiibos. We just totally looked at what we did in the thing. You know what I'm getting at? Yeah, that they basically said we didn't think there was as high demand. This is not like with... They're like, this isn't like with the new 3DS was, where basically they got screwed because of a strike, where a bunch of new 3DSs were in a, not shipping yard, like, where the boats come in, and the thing, you can look that up. That's not important. What's important is, they said, yes, we are going to have, some of the Amiibos that have gone out of stock, we are going to restock them. The thing is, though, they were not 100% explaining everything. My problem was they did not explain how this was going to deal with exclusives, because that is what I am mostly concerned with, because there's only one Amiibo left I want, and that was an exclusive at GameStop, and that was the one for Ness from Earthbound, aka, yes I know, Mother 2. Right. And, yeah, all the Smash Brothers games up to this point, yes. And that Amiibo is specifically for the current Smash Brothers game. Got it. Before anybody sends comments and all that kind of crap. So, my whole concern is, are exclusives still on the table? And how are they going to do it? Are they going to keep them exclusives? Am I going to have to go to GameStop? Or is it going to be easier, like, hey, I can go on Amazon and buy it, and especially since that should actually, basically hit a bunch of these scalpers that are actually on Amazon. You can actually get Ness on Amazon for, I think, about $60. I am tempted to get them if Nintendo decides, well, the exclusives, we're not bringing those back. The regular ones, yes, but not the exclusives. So I may end up doing that, but here's the deal. They didn't really talk about that. They just were like, hey, we're bringing back these Amiibos. We're not going to be specific about it. We're just like, they're coming back. It was kind of like what it was. I looked on multiple different articles, and exclusives were not touched upon. I actually started out with just searching, okay, because I read a couple of articles that didn't seem to touch on this. So I was like, okay, Ness Amiibo restock. I couldn't find anything on that. I did just exclusives instead, and I couldn't. Maybe there's an article out there. If you in the audience know, post a comment, and I will probably then do a follow-up video specifically about it. But at this point, it's kind of really up in the air, and I don't know. So I'm going to now get to my story that I told you I was going to get to. So I went to GameStop to get a NES Amiibo the day they came out. I actually was there several hours before they did the official thing. The GameStop I was at was pretty cool in that if you came in early, they gave you a little ticket, which meant that you could then leave and come back. I was number 5. Well, so I then came back about just only an hour earlier, and then I just messed around. I played some of that Kirby claymation game, and it was actually which was actually pretty fun. I actually was able to play it to where I could see the screen and my the touchscreen controllers, so that was like a DS, and hold it with just one hand. Yeah, because I know a lot of people are complaining. They're like, I can't look at the screen. I have to look down when I do it. I was like, now you probably can't do it for more than maybe 15 minutes at a time, but you can hold up your Wii U controller to the touch controller right below, and then you can look up. Yeah, I was able to do that and get through a whole level. Man, I'm totally getting off track. So back to the Amiibo debacle. So once it gets closer to that time, I get into a group of people who are waiting there. I am waiting there. So there's about 10 people. There's about 4 in front of me, 5 behind me, and they open. It goes, and right as it happens, their computers crash. They crash horribly. And so the very first person, the lady who was buying a bunch of Amiibos for her son, she was the first one there. Okay, okay, makes sense. She had to wait 90 minutes before she could get her Amiibos. And in that time, the 4 people ahead of me all left. Some of the people behind me left, so then you basically were down to the first lady, myself, and I think maybe 3 other people who were behind me. So, wait, no, scratch it, I think there was 1 other person in front of me. Yeah, there was. So there was the initial lady who was waiting 90 minutes, then there was another lady who, well, no, I think it took an hour for the first lady. Then it took a half an hour for the next lady, and then they're like, okay, we're just going to have to do it on multiple computers. Because initially they were like, we're just going to focus on this being the Amiibo computer, and everybody else can check out who isn't getting Amiibos. And then it just ended up being a cluster. So they're like, okay, we're just going to divide it. So it got to the point where I got to get to mine. And like I said, they had like 2 computers set up. Because they had 3 cash registers. And initially they were like, we're just going to have one of the computers. And that was a bad idea. So they had the 2, and so I went up, and it's like, put in your information, because it was a pre-order deal, where they put your information. It is actually, you don't go to GameStop, they actually would ship it to you, of all things. And I had them put in my address, and my information, and my card, and all that. It's like, okay, it's booting, and while it was booting, 2 other people who were behind me were able to get their Amiibos quickly on the other computer. And, well, you probably know the story, where this is going then, right? Because pretty much you do, right? So what happened was, right before the thing went through, someone looked, on the other computer, said, oh, yeah, all the NES ones are gone. Well, they first were like, okay, all the Splatoon ones are gone, a couple other ones are gone, okay, I think there was, and then they're like, NES is gone. And it's like, I was there 90 minutes. Now, I didn't complain about it. My brother actually said, hey, man, you should have complained to them and gotten something out of it. Now, up to that point, the people who, like myself, were crazy enough to stay were actually given a bunch of Legos at my local GameStop. But those people ended up getting their Amiibos. I was the only one who didn't. People behind me got their Amiibos. Okay. Yes, I'm still really bitter about this, even though I probably will get an NES Amiibo. But but this leads to another big concern of mine. Okay? That's right, I'm following this right back around to being relevant about this story. If the exclusives are going to still be exclusives at the specific spots that they were when they restock them, so, like, say, if NES is going to still be GameStop exclusive and they're going to restock, are they going to be smart enough that Nintendo and GameStop, and in the occasions of the other exclusives, the different retailers that they're doing exclusives with, so let me just put, the retailer and Nintendo, when they have exclusives, should a specific amount of Amiibos per store. That should be it. Otherwise, they're going to have the same problem happening of people getting angry. Because, again, people know, like, okay, there's a certain amount. We only have a certain amount, even though it's a pre-order deal. Here, there's only a certain amount. Here it is. I think people will be much more accepting. And unlike, well, I ended up going there. I had people behind me getting Amiibos, and people in front of me getting Amiibos, behind me getting Amiibos. I feel like, it's like that, you know... It's like that Suicidal Tendencies song. It's like, all I wanted was a Pepsi. All I wanted was a Pepsi. All I wanted was a freaking NES Amiibo. Usually I do not get this lively. But, you know, that was very painful. And this is probably the longest video I have done for R.O.B Reviews. I am R.O.B Webb, a.k.a. William Robert Webb III, a.k.a. Tetsuo Man, a.k.a. Tetsuo the Great. Have a good day, and please subscribe, like, comment, do all that jazz. Or you could not. You don't have to. It's up to you. You have free will. It's cool. But yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Have a great old day.